Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The title of my speech is Black Lives Chicago. So who here was shopping on Black Friday? Anyone go shopping? Mike was a shopper. Well, if you had shopped on Michigan Avenue, you would have seen thousands or hundreds of protesters, because Black Friday in Chicago meant Black Lives Matter protests. So why were hundreds of Chicagoans protesting Black Friday on Michigan Avenue? Well, if some of you may have seen in the news, the day or two before, there had been a video released of a young black male being gunned down by Chicago policemen, and it looked like he was innocent, like he hadn't done anything wrong, and the policemen just basically shot him to death, and I think he used a total of 16 bullets to shoot the young man. And just like a lot of other cities, like Baltimore wasn't a shooting, it was something else. New York was another type of police brutality. These things happen all over. Sometimes the suspects are guilty, many times they're not. But it had finally hit home in Chicago. But what made the episode in Chicago so powerful was the fact that the video was actually taken 14 months ago. Whereas some of these episodes in Baltimore and St. Louis and New York, most of those had happened all within a time span of a few months, where all the evidence was out in the public and the politicians decided whether or not to prosecute. Now, another aspect about the case is right before, like I said, this episode of the video taken happened 14 months ago. The video was released, I believe, Thursday, and right before the video was released, the police officer who was accused was put on trial for murder. Now, at the same time, we all know that our Mayor Rahm Emanuel recently went through a campaign in the spring. So many people immediately brought up the fact that there was some type of conspiracy. Why else would they hold back the video for 14 months? So this was a lot of the reason why you saw the people protesting on Michigan Avenue, not only that another young black had been shot down, but also in the way it was handled. And the things that makes this case so fascinating is Rahm Emanuel, he's probably one of the most respected or accomplished politicians of his era. So he's a pretty big dog. They don't get any bigger than him. And over the past couple days, what you've seen is some newspapers like the New York Times possibly calling for his resignation, other local officials asking questions, and basically people want to know the whole story and what. So things have been coming out a little bit at a time. And just this morning, the mayor had a press conference today. He had actually fired the police chief, I believe, yesterday. And his response today was that the city had withheld the video for 14 months because they didn't want to have evidence put in front of the public, because that could change the outcome of the decision whether or not to put the officer on trial. So his statement meant that it wasn't that they were holding back the video because he had a political campaign, but the fact that that was just the city, that's the way they do business, and there was a technicality that they held back the video because they wanted all the evidence in before they made the decision. So at the same time we have all these things going around, it was funny when I'm a little bit involved in politics, so maybe I follow these type of cases more closely than some of you out there. But when I was walking around after work, especially a day or two ago, it seemed to me, I felt, did any of you feel it? When you're walking on the street downtown, you just felt, and I don't know how familiar some of you are with the case, but did anyone feel the difference in the air? How people were reacting towards each other? Did you feel it, Ken, with your students? Tim, walking on the street? Did you feel like a little difference in the air? The way you looked at that stranger walking by? Maybe. I'm getting an inkling maybe Tim felt it. Well, what I felt when I was walking around downtown, I felt that the city had kind of been shaken to its core, almost like a loss of innocence, because it seemed like if the people in power, if they're really hiding all this stuff from us, you know, what do we really stand for? The city of Chicago, big shoulders. Aren't we better than this? So these were some of the things I was thinking about. As far as the mayor, in the end, it won't be that he'll. Some people are saying, "Oh, he should be impeached. He should do this. He should do that." And what will happen is all the facts will come out, and eventually it will be the people and the local politicians and some of the newspapers. They'll decide in the end what is right for the mayor, because basically the mayor is a very local position. So you either have the support of the people or you don't. So this is how I think it will play out. But in closing, we should just think of this recent Black Lives episode. You know, I did a speech on Black Lives in some other cities, but we should think about the events of the past few days and just, it's really not about the mayor. It's really about the city, how we interact with each other, and really about the future of this city. And in that, the future is still undecided. Mr. Postmaster.